What is going on, YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Y'all Patiz. This is your review for I'm not about to say Love and Marriage DC Season 1, Episode 1. Alright, so we start out with Monique. She claims to have reality TV PTSD, which I can see, which is understandable. But at the same exact time, y'all know I love Monique, but when I do my reviews, even if I love somebody or whatever, I'm still going to keep it all the way 1,000 because it's me. Part of that is the fact that it appeared to me she tried to get ahead of the story rather than just letting the story play itself out and then say what you got to say at the reunion, because there were some changes in the story and whatnot. I mean, I still stand by, my feelings on the situation, but I feel that a lot of what she got is because while it was going, she should have just kept shut, did her therapy and whatnot, let what was recorded be recorded, and then come to the reunion and just say whatever it is that needed to be said. She said Carlos came to her with this initially. She said no. He came back again. Excuse me. Then she said yes. She has the opportunity to show all the facets of her life, which is good because if we're going to be very honest, we don't get that from the housewife shows anymore. The first season of a show, yeah. After that, it's, we get a little bit of your life, but then now we want to sit here and throw all the women into a party, a situation, or whatever, and hopefully some chaos ensues. So we don't always get to see what these women are doing in every facet of their lives. We really don't. So this will be a good opportunity to see this from her. So she has a Not for Lazy Moms pop-up event, and now this is how we get introduced to all of the ladies. So we have Ashley Silva. For those of y'all who remember the girl group, I believe it was Allure that did All Cried Out with 112. She reminds me of the lead singer in The Face. Just saying. But she's a mom, wife, podcaster, businesswoman, a creative, and she is as sweet as bee you'll meet. We shall see. We have Irena Tyler. She kind of gives me Mama D in the face. You know what I'm saying? And again, like that ain't a dig or whatever. I mean, it's just like, but this is also how it makes it easy for me to remember them until we probably get into episode 4 or 5 when I will have it like down pat. But I'm just saying, like, this is how I'm able to remember these ladies. She has 3 kids. She's TikTok famous. Let her tell it. Serial entrepreneur. She's fun, outgoing. Don't tolerate no ish. I am there for it. Monique says she slid into into Irena's DMs, which is how she met her. She wants to be connected to women on her level or above. Now, one thing I'm going to say about that is, and I'll say this on the panel that Really B did, where she needs to be aware of what it is that she's saying and also remember what was said on that previous show. Because the reason that she and Charisse fell out is because Charisse felt like she was being a social climber and was only friends with her to get her contact so she can elevate. And the reality is, if you're not trying to elevate, there is a problem. And yes, sometimes that does happen, and you make friends off of other friends. But the optics of it and the fact that Monique says she slid into Irena's DMs and that is how she met her and all that, it lends itself to that. I hope that is not the case, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that caught that. But again, I wouldn't be doing my due diligence as a reviewer if I didn't bring that. Obviously, there's things that I'm going to miss, but I did catch that and it didn't sit right. So Monique's friend Winter Williams is supposed to be the event's special guest. Irena notices Winter's haircut and pretty much deciphers, okay, she must be going through it. Because if a woman does something that drastic to her hair, that's what that is. But sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes when it comes to women, like their hair is their crown, their glory. And sometimes when life gets a little bit tumultuous for some women, not all women, the only thing they can control is the hair. So sometimes that is the go-to. Don't know if that's the case with Winter. Just throwing that out there. Observation, just like Irena. So Ashley loves a go-getter wife, so that's why she kind of likes Monique. It's easy to, and then she says it's easy to spend somebody else's money, but you need to make your own money while spending his money. I'm like, okay, all right, if you say so. Winter met Monique through her ex-husband and Monique's current husband, or I should just say Monique's husband, saying current. Y'all know what I mean. Uh, we found out Winter went through 15 years of marriage, finding out that her man, not only did he cheat, he cheated with the nanny. Later found out that he had a kid. Then later found out that he had another kid. And she moved to divorce, and that is how she found her strength. I'm like, that is a lot to go through. My only question is, and I would be curious to know, is what was the exact reason that you stayed through all of that? You know what I'm saying? Just saying. And it looks like she, I guess, maybe was supposed to be a part of the actual main cast. And even with this first episode, like, she gave so much, she should be a part of the main cast. Nevertheless, Ashley tells Irena while Winter is speaking, I drink when I get bored. I don't want to get drunk. This is my fourth glass. Now, one, that is shady that you said that, but here's the other thing. And Ashley, I'm going to say this to you too. You need to be very, now mind you, you were inebriated, but you need to be very aware of what you say. Because even if it doesn't get aired, it will be used against you because you literally just said, I get bored, I drink. And we saw you act out a little bit in your drunken state. Reality shows love to have events where they try to force you to drink well before you even truly get into the scene. So by the time the scene is actually going on, the alcohol has took effect, and now you're acting in a way that may not be conducive to what you're trying to put out there, but it's gonna make for good television. So you literally just told production, this is my Achilles heel, and this is how you can sit here and exploit me. So then Ashley does these fake hugs. Ashley says her and her husband never had couple friends, so this is a first. So we should see how this plays out. Irena's having her 26th, anniversary party, and it's safe to assume that because the number 26 is random. So it's safe to assume that the 25th, because like I said, we're still kind of dealing with the pandemic, but I'm pretty sure that was still in the thick of it, and that's why they couldn't do it. So, okay, cool. Monique asked if, there will be a Q&A, and Ashley needs to know how I'm sorry, Monique wants to know if there's going to be a Q&A. And Randy's just like, no. And I get one, Monique is trying to produce a moment, which I'm going to say this to Monique, like, granted, I'm pretty sure y'all have already finished filming the season, but we don't want you to end up like Mel. Like, let the scenes organically happen, because we can tell when somebody is trying to produce a scene and have lead-in questions and whatnot. Don't do that. A lot of people already don't care for you that much, Monique. So I'm gonna just think for you just be a little bit more aware. But with the whole Q&A, it's just like, okay, y'all have lasted 26 years. Like, y'all might have some gems, but the reality also is, what works in one marriage ain't gonna work for another, especially if you're trying to go with this patriarchal ideal of what marriage should be and this and that, and gender roles and all the other stuff, and you might not even be ready for what they do to keep that marriage going. So yeah. And then Ashley needs to know how to go from being a teen to being an adult, because when she was 10, Irena got married. I'm like, okay, shade. And okay, Ashley, we're doing old jokes. But it seems like Irena is used to it. We'll see. All right, we get Monique. Coming up on 10 years, Chris is working out. The emotional connection has fell off from what Chris said. They rehashed the event. Chris wants to have a sit down with Irena and her husband, so they can get some tips on just like, okay, like, how have y'all made it work? And this is one of those where even when sit down and whatnot happen, this is when you sit here, you chew the meat, you throw the bones away. Like, take from it what you can, throw everything else away, because not everything is going to apply to your situation. We get Irena and Jamie. Let me see. Mama T, which is Irena's mom, lives with them. Her son, Jason, 21, he is visually impaired. I like seeing this, because this is something that we don't always see on reality television. But you can tell that the love is there. They make sure this boy is dressed up and everything else. And I want to see more of this. I just don't want it to come off as being, like, I don't want them to exploit his condition for the sake of a storyline, because that would be horrible. Jamie owns J&J Entertainment. We find out that Jamie Sr. and Jamie Jr. Relationship is strained. Jamie Sr. says it'll be a problem if he doesn't show up to their anniversary party. We'll get to that later. So we get Ashley and Quicksilver, DJ. Two kids, married 13 years. Ashley is rebranding herself. She's writing a book, but she doesn't have the time to write the book. Quick's lifestyle has never accommodated having a wife and kids because he is a DJ, more or less a traveling DJ. Ashley needs him to, step it up and help her out. And look, this is a storyline that yes, we've seen on many different shows and whatnot. And guess what? Here's a simple solution: get you a nanny, get you a housekeeper or house manager. Boom. And your kids appear to be old enough to where they don't need somebody hovering over them all the time. If you have the funds, you can create a system to where you don't have to be as hands-on. Now, if that is your choice to be hands-on and not have someone there, that is your choice, and you're just going to have to bear it. But we're not going to do this too much. Just letting you know. We get Irena and Jamie Jr. car shopping. She pretty much tells him, I ain't paying for it. I guess more or less like, you need to talk to your daddy. But she brings up the convo that she had, with Jamie Sr. Irena is concerned for his well-being. What he may or may not be getting into out in them streets. And I'm under the assumption that he probably lives with them. I'm not sure. And we still don't know the issue, which is a problem for me. Because, okay, we're dancing around some stuff, and that doesn't sit well, right? She wants them to talk and says, you only have one dad. And I hate that stuff. I really do. Because to me, that is toxic manipulation. Where you only have one dad. You only have one mom. That's a fact. And to quote Erica De Niro TV, you only have one me. And just because you're my parent doesn't mean that I have to sit here and accept this toxicity. And what tends to happen is when y'all do this to kids, you wonder why they end up in toxic relationships because they've been taught to just grin and bear it. We're not going down that road because I'm not trying to make this review long because I have a whole lot of other reviews to do. So we get Irena and Jamie's party. We found out that she's on her second husband. His name is Kevin. They're 6 months separated. As they were coming up on a year, she got a message that rocked her, and he refused to talk about it. He moved back in with his parent. He happens to be 59. That ain't my business. The couples want advice from Irena and Jamie. Obviously, they don't want to talk about that. They just want to party. Mo doesn't want to end up like her parents' divorce around the 20-year mark, but she also don't want to end up like Chris's parents where they're just friends. I'm like, okay, that might come back to bite you. So Jamie Jr. arrives, and Jamie Sr. is glad and hopes he behaves and doesn't piss him off. So for me, it's like you want too much. It's like you want him there, but you need to behave and don't piss me off. Like, again, this is coming off as being very chaotic and very toxic, and I just don't like the feel of it. I really don't. Because, again, why have him there if you finna sit here and be on that issue? You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Let me see. I said that. So Jamie Jr., pulls his dad to the side. To clear the air. He says, he was hanging out with the wrong people, getting high every day, smoking contributed to his bad behavior and poor decisions. It had a hold on him, which is understandable. And here's one thing that I'm going to say. What I'm getting from this is I am getting the symptoms and not the diagnosis. And that is going to infuriate me. And again, when I get in these modes, I don't talk about this stuff on these shows. So unless we're going to find out what the root cause of why these things are happening, I'm probably not going to talk about it. I'm just letting you know. Anyway, so Jamie Sr. feels that him going down this road is either going to lead him to jail or death. And this is why he is hard on him. Jamie Jr. says he's grown and, y'all still treat me like little Jamie. And look, that happens with a lot of us where it's like we're still looked at through that lens. But in his particular case, you acting almost like you're still an adolescent child, they're sort of kind of going to look at you and treat you like one. So Senior says they do because they love him, I guess. So it's a whole tough love thing, and Jamie Senior is just like he got tough love from his dad, and that's how he ended up. And yeah, sometimes that tough love things does work, but you also have to realize that every generation is different, and the world that your parents prepared you for is not the world that you're preparing your kids for, because the world is changing at this pace very, very rapidly, and you have to be able to adjust. Senior tells Junior he loves him, and Junior says he needed to hear that and needs to hear that more. And Senior says he's going to do better, which is good, and they hug it out. Again, what is the underlying issue? We end with Monique. They talk about Irena and Jamie not wanting to open up. She mentions Terry, who is his life coach, that she was at the pop up event, or he or she, I believe it was a she. Yeah, she. And she tells us, no, I'm sorry, Monique tells us at a point, Terry pulled her into their sessions because she felt that she wasn't really reaching Chris. Chris says, she told me to do the work. I'm trying. I need for you to be patient, but you have been being patient, and I appreciate it. Monique says, it's been 10 years, and Chris says to her, um, hang in there, it's worth it. Monique took that a certain way because she's just like, you know, wants him to expound on it because he says, things get better, but it's a little tense. Chris is, and we find out that Chris was supposed to give her a list of who he is and his passions. He was supposed to give it to her within a week. It's been a month. And I can, because I know some people be like, why do you need that? You should already know your spouse. And look, I don't know if they rush into a marriage or not. Don't know. But people do change over time. And you have some people where they may not necessarily rush into a marriage, but they probably didn't date long enough to really go through the ups and the downs and the different seasons to really understand this person. And then also, most men, look, the way that we have been cultivated, we don't always sit here and open up about everything. So she's trying to relearn her husband. Um, and and she asked him, "Did you think it's not important? Because you said we ain't meeting with Terry, so I don't have to do it." Chris says, "If I made you feel that way," and that is when I checked out. Because y'all know I hate those catch-all 22 roundabout apologies that people trying to give. Like, no, itemize what you're sitting here and apologizing to me for, not because I'm trying to make you suffer, but I need to make sure that you understand that this is what you did. You understand this is what you did, and you're going to make an effort to not do it again. And one last thing to you, Monique, before I end this review. Don't be on here playing with your marriage. I'm just saying, because it looked like you're playing with it. But with that being said, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And your next video is going to be The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Peace out.